All right. So these first examples, we're going to find out whether or not these geometric series have a finite sum or not. In other words, we're going to have to find the r value. What are we multiplying by in A? What are we multiplying by in B? What are we multiplying by in C? So if we look at our numerators in A, you're going from 3 to 12 to 48 to 192. The bottom number is getting multiplied by 4. So our r value, in order for that to be a fraction, we would be multiplying by 1/4. This is for A. So for A, our r value is less than 1. And so let's quickly add up all these numbers. Our infinity formula says if it works, all it is term 1 over 1 minus r. So the sum to infinity of the first one, well, term 1 is 1/3, r is 1/4. What is 1 minus 1/4? Right? In order to add or subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. 1 is 4 over 4. 4 over 4 minus 1 over 4 would be the same as 3/4. And then you have to go to your fraction stuff. How do I divide a fraction by a fraction? That's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. Wow. Wasn't even that hard. It'd probably be harder to add the first 3 up in your head than it would be to find out what all infinite number add up to. And we get 4/9. So let's look at B. For B, what's our r value? It's doubling each time. We cannot find that infinite sum because it is divergent. The first one was convergent because that r value was less than 1. The second one is divergent because you're going more each time. For the third one, what's happening to the numbers on the bottom? You're multiplying by 10, and it's going from positive to negative to positive to negative. So our r value is 1/10 with a negative out in front, because the negative will allow it to switch from positive to negative and back and forth. So for part C here, we can use the sum to infinity. Our fraction is less than 1, and it doesn't matter if it's a positive or a negative number. That fraction has to be less than 1. So when we put it into our formula, we start with term 1 and then 1 minus r. In this case, our first term was 1/10. And we'd have 1 minus, and r is negative 1/10. Subtracting a negative, same as adding. And if I had 10 over 10 plus 1 over 10 on the bottom of my fraction, I'd have 11 over 10. Fraction divided by a fraction is the same as multiplying by a reciprocal. Multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. Do you see a shortcut here? Can you see why it's going to be 1/11 as the final answer without multiplying the tops to get 10 and the bottoms to get 110? Right? When you're dividing, 10 divided by 10 is 1. So you can simplify that at first. That makes life a lot easier. And the sum adds up to 1/11. Very cool. It's just fun to think that you can add up an infinite amount of numbers. I just think that's amazing. So you can try 3 and 4, and we will do example 2, and then I'll give you some time after example 2 to work on these.